How to eliminate pump and dump. So when I first got in the crypto ecosystem, it was around 2016. I had first been introduced to cryptocurrency. I had become really fascinated in it. And that was right before the 2017 bull run, because I got in around the end of 2016. So during the 2017 bull run, it was crazy. When I first got introduced to cryptocurrency, I was mostly introduced to Bitcoin, and I had a strong fascination with Ethereum. I had no idea that the plethora of tokens that ended up pumping to the moon and making some people rich, the people smart enough to sell. And what ended up happening was there was a lot of people who got dumped on, unfortunately. And I happen to be one of those people, but I never really held a lot of the small market cap tokens outside of a few. So I didn't get burned super bad like a lot of people did. But pumping and dumping, for those of you guys who don't know, pumping and dumping is basically when big money investors, I shouldn't even call them investors, but big money whales, what we call whales in the crypto space, they jump into a project with a small market cap and a token that has little to no utility, but does have a lot of hype around it. And they sort of pump up the hype train and make everybody super excited to participate in this token that ultimately they're going to pump to the moon, and then they're going to dump on everybody else. Now, this is very possible just based on the way we do price discovery. You see, pump and dump is actually a big problem in the equities market. It's been a big problem for a long time. Not until we had blockchain, until we had smart contracts, have we finally been able to develop a way that I think combats this huge problem of pump and dump very uniquely. So it all has to do with the way we find price. So price discovery. Traditionally, we find price discovery through a method called bid ask. So I go to an exchange, I'm a buyer, and I have to find somebody who wants to sell to me in real time. The price we agree on is the price of that asset. That's how Bitcoin gets its price. That's how Ethereum gets its price. That's how all of the top 10 gets its price. The Bancorv network came up with a completely new and unique method of price discovery that involves staking. Staking is different depending on which crypto ecosystem you're in. Ethereum uses staking to validate the network, so pretty much to validate blocks. EOS uses staking to stake resources, so developers and operators can stake resources, so that way the end user never has to pay to use the dApp. They can use the dApp for free. But Bancorv has its own unique way it does staking, and it stakes tokens inside of a smart contract reserve. And instead of trading with another person in real time, you are trading essentially against code. You are trading against a smart contract. Now that makes sense. They developed this solution because if you know anything about Bancorv, they're trying to enable the long tail of crypto tokens. So they needed a solution that they could get price discovery for tokens that didn't have enough interest to be listed on big centralized exchanges. So they weren't gonna get enough trading volume. So they needed a solution to find price discovery without that. And what they ended up coming up with, due to smart contracts, was this system of reserves. So now the price is generated based on how much reserves are in that smart contract that is attached to your token. This is huge because it fundamentally flips on its head our old model of finding value. And I think this is going to make the whole crypto ecosystem much more balanced, much more fair, a lot more stable, and it's going to make our ecosystem a lot more, as Bancorv continues to grow and the network continues to grow and attach itself to all tokens, is going to make the ecosystem a lot more attractive for institutional investment. And also, it's going to be a lot more accurate way of seeing the actual belief and participation within the network. I'll give you an example. So, like I said before, the price of Bitcoin is pretty much generated off of centralized exchanges. It's generated off of big money whales who are buying and selling Bitcoin. That trading volume is how they come up with the price of Bitcoin. So if somebody with a lot of money really wants to manipulate the price of Bitcoin, they can simply leverage themselves up and put in a bunch of buy orders or a bunch of sell orders and do this thing called wash trading, which is essentially them trading with themselves. And that goes on inside the crypto space more frequently than a lot of people would think. But with Bancorv, that's a lot harder to do, because in order to manipulate the price of an asset, you have to actually put real reserves inside of a smart contract. You can't simply place orders on an order book that are never going to get filled in order to, mimic the image of excitement or the price to go up, to mimic excitement for a crypto token. You actually have to buy reserves and place them in the asset. Not to mention the amount of people who are holding Bitcoin, who are Bitcoin holders, that doesn't even take into account their assets. If everybody who held Bitcoin had their assets in a smart contract, I think that would be a lot more fair version of price discovery, because you could see the true long-term believers, the stakers, versus the speculators or the traders. So that is my opinion on this topic. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Will this new way of trading give a positive effect on the whole ecosystem? Will this finally bring the balance that we need to the crypto ecosystem? And yeah, let me know, guys.